Well, greetings to you. I had a little bit of a think the other day out walking the dog, as we often do when we're walking our dogs. We have a brainwave. I just thought that we do see, do we not, on quite a number of occasions, some of these illegal immigrants up before the beak, as it were, on maybe assaulting perhaps a 14-year-old girl or so on and so forth. And the claim that they make was that they didn't realise they couldn't do that. They didn't realise they couldn't treat women like that or behave in that manner because it's okay in their own country. Now, I've been all over the Indian subcontinent. I've spent a lot of time visiting Africa over many years, and I can assure everybody that it is not acceptable in those countries at all. They're swinging the lead, everybody. They're swinging the lead. But be that as it may, I think we need to accept, do we not, that these people have been brought into our country quite deliberately, which is why they are so well looked after in terms of medical care, accommodation, meals and pocket money and so on and so forth, which in some boroughs particularly is quite extraordinary. They are made exceptionally welcome. And it's quite obvious that the legacy parliamentary parties and the legacy media has no intention of actually sending them back or supporting sending them back. I think we've all come to realise that now. They're still pouring in. So this is obviously government policy, and it was the previous government's policy, so on and so forth. And if you try and pin anybody else down, apart from very fringe parties or influence groups, who aren't of any great importance certainly yet, they really hedge round the fact whether we're going to send anybody back. So I think we need to start taking the bull by the horns here. I think we need to offer some training. Now, the ones, and there are many of them in many hotels, and a lot of these hotels have a conference room, or certainly that's something that could be turned into a conference room. Instead of these young men, and they are young men, hanging around hotels, inside and out, making a nuisance of themselves, we could offer them something a lot more fruitful. So we could have a series of lectures in these rooms, and they could be noted and named, and we could record the fact that they are cooperative and they're trying to learn what is acceptable behaviour in our country and what isn't. In much the same way that when I was in the army, if we were serving abroad anywhere, we were told, in fact it's been the army way for many generations, so as not to give offence when you go to a country, particularly the Indian subcontinent in those days, not to cause any offence. And I used to have a little book on that Sandhurst gave, which is absolutely fascinating. But leaving that aside, I digress. So it would be possible, would it not, to say these are the things in the classroom that you cannot do, which is unacceptable behaviour in this country, and you'll get into trouble if you do it. We could say, and you might get a custodial sentence if you behave like this, but because we've got to keep it believable, haven't we? So it would help them. It also means that we could get a little bit of a handle on who they are, what they are, and select some of those who might be useful, who could be put to some gainful employment in some way. At least we'd start some form of reckoning of them, and of course it would give them something to do, and we all know that the devil makes work for idle hands. So you say to yourself, who would do this? Well, I was looking at a demonstration, an anti-racist demonstration outside a hotel only this morning. It was a little clip which I thought was quite interesting. It was women of a certain age who certainly looked like they were probably ex-civil servants or ex-school teachers, and the fact that they had nothing else to do probably might suggest that they were on index-linked pensions by now anyway, but leaving that aside, they would have a useful role to play, and I would think they are desperate to play it. These ladies of that certain age were very keen indeed to make friends, it seemed to me, with all those young men from the Indian subcontinent and the Horn of Africa and everywhere else. They were very keen to make friends. And they could then volunteer. You could put them, I'm sure they've got plenty to offer, to teach these young men what's acceptable behaviour and what is not acceptable behaviour in this country. And it might help if we had some kind of report on some of these young men, whether they might make good employees or useful and reliable employees in this country when it's quite clear they're not going to be sent back, and certainly not in any great number. Don't misunderstand me. I believe that every illegal immigrant in this country should be sent back. because otherwise we're just sending a message to everybody else that all are welcome. But of course that is the government position, all are welcome, come one, come all, that's the government position, so there's no point in pretending it isn't. So if we want to make these people at least, if not good citizens, not antisocial citizens, let's start teaching them about the principal behaviour that we expect from them. And let's gather in these ladies who could be subcontracted by Serco, or whoever these people usually are, put these people in, or they can come into the classroom and explain to these young men just what we expect of them. Let me know if you think this is a good idea, because I think sooner or later we've got to do something. We can't just let it drift as it is. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research based. And I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I automatically share it with you. So surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.